You hear that phrase all the time, right? Production ready. It's like the holy grail for any software project. But what does it actually take to get an app across that finish line? Well, today we're going to tear down the term and look at a real-world blueprint for how it's done.
Our guide for this is VChat, a privacy-first AI chat app, and they just announced that they've hit that exact milestone. So we're going to use their playbook to really break down the pillars of what makes an app not just work, but work in the real world for real users. And that really is the big question, isn't it? Does it just mean, feature complete? No more bugs? Or is it something deeper? It's about building an experience that's secure, that's polished, and that's solid from the inside out. Let's build a real definition.
Okay, so to get what makes VTChat tick, first we got to pop the hood and look at the engine. It's built on a stack that's basically a perfect blueprint for any modern AI app you'd want to build today. Just look at this stack. It is seriously modern. You've got the super fast front end with Next.js and React, but then it's all running on Bun, which is just incredibly fast. They're using a turbo repo to keep all the code clean and manageable, which is smart for scaling. And on the back end, you see these really solid, reliable choices like Neon for the database and ArcJet for security. See, this isn't just about chasing shiny new tech. It's about picking tools that work together to create a foundation that is fast, secure, and won't be a nightmare to maintain later.
All right, let's talk about the first pillar. And honestly, in this day and age, it's a huge one: privacy. A truly modern app can't just slap on a privacy policy at the end. No way. It has to be baked right into the core of its architecture from day one.
So VChat's approach is what they call privacy first. And the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. All of your chat data, your conversations, your history, it never gets uploaded to their servers. Not ever. It's all stored right there in your own browser's local database. This one choice completely flips the script on data privacy. Your data literally stays yours, period.
But, okay, what if you're on a shared computer, like at a library or at home? A truly production-ready app has to think about that too. Data isolation needs to be absolute, even on the exact same machine.
And here's how they pull that off. Look at this. The system creates totally separate sandbox databases for every single user. So if you're just visiting, you get the anonymous storage. But the second you log in as, say, user123, the entire app switches over to a completely different database that's named just for you. Your threads, your API keys, they're completely walled off. No other user on that machine can see them. Now that is what true data isolation looks like.
And privacy isn't just about storing data. It's also about controlling who gets to see it from the outside. VChat does something really clever with its robots.txt file. That's the file that gives instructions to web crawlers. They basically tell AI training bots, hey, you can't come in here. They're blocked from any sensitive user areas, profiles, API endpoints, the chat itself. But they do permit them to learn from the public-facing stuff, like the About page. It's such a smart, proactive way to manage how your data is used.
Okay, moving on to pillar number 2. A production-ready app feels different. It's more than just a list of features that work. It feels sophisticated. It's polished. And this is where that deep, thoughtful user experience design really comes into focus. Part of that sophistication is just having a business model that makes sense. Look at how clear this is. The free tier is genuinely useful. You get 9 different AI models to use, document processing, a ton of great stuff. The paid VT Plus tier is then for those really powerful, high-value features like deep research and pro search. There's no confusion. As a user, you know exactly what you're getting and why you might want to upgrade.
And this is where you see the polish. This is what separates a weekend project from a pro-level product. It's the little things, right? The consistent design, those subtle hover effects that just feel modern, the clean typography that's easy to read, and, crucially, full accessibility so everyone can use it. These things aren't just window dressing. They build trust. They tell the user that someone really cared when they built this.
Let's hit our third pillar, because a beautiful design or a great feature set, well, it doesn't mean a thing if the app feels sluggish and slow. A truly production-ready app has to be engineered for speed you can actually feel. Let's just start with a jaw-dropping number. V2Chat managed to slash its build time. That's the time it takes to actually compile the app for release by a whopping 87%. I mean, look at that change from 24 seconds
down to just 3. They did this by switching to a tool called TurboPack. And you might think, okay, that's cool for the developers, but it's actually a huge win for users too. A faster build time means bug fixes and new features get out the door that much faster.
So that's the developer side. What about the user experience? Well, how about an 85% drop in session validation time? That's that little lag you sometimes feel when you log in or move around a site. Making that virtually disappear? That's a massive improvement.
And we can cap it all off with a 74% speed up in their database queries. So when you put these 3 numbers together, they tell a really clear story. By doing things like smart caching and proper database indexing, they just systematically eliminated friction from the app. These aren't just abstract metrics. You can feel this. It's a snappier, smoother experience on every single click. That's what engineered performance is all about.
Okay, so we've covered privacy, polish, and performance. But there is one final, almost invisible pillar that holds the whole thing up and makes an app truly ready for the real world. And that's operations.
This list right here, this is all the stuff you never ever see as a user until it breaks. We're talking about automated systems to deploy code without human error. We're talking about automated scripts that clean and optimize the database, and constant monitoring with health checks firing off every 30 seconds to make sure everything's okay. This is that invisible, heavy lifting that keeps a reliable service running smoothly.
And that's really the heart of it all. Production ready isn't one feature. You can't just ship it. It's a quality. It's the result of all these different pieces: the design, the code, the security, the operations, all working together in harmony.
So when you look at the whole blueprint, you can see how it all fits. It starts with that non-negotiable foundation of privacy by design. On top of that, you build a sophisticated, polished product. You make sure it's got engineered performance so it's a joy to use. And then you wrap the whole thing in robust operations to make sure it never falls down. Each pillar supports all the others.
VChat gives us such a great concrete example of what it means to build a truly production-ready app today. These ideas, privacy, polish, performance, and operations, they're universal. They apply to any project. So the real question to take away is, when you build your next thing, what's going to be in your blueprint? Thanks for tuning in.